Uh, when I saw this prompt for the update this week, the two movies I thought of were Rounders and Goodfellas. Because in Goodfellas, the it portrayed the Boston College scandal that went on, which I actually read about when doing the project. And let me read the questions. And both of them, they were both involved in point shaving. One was in at Boston College for college basketball, and in Rounders, it was high school basketball at uh, Mike and Worm's college that they got kicked out of. In Rounders, they didn't necessarily portray any characters. They just showed that Mike and Worm, when they were talking about all their schemes they were running in high school, as Worm's getting out of prison, they dropped in that they were point shaving with the point guard. They had the point guard on a payroll, and he was shaving or fixing games so that they would win money until he didn't pay them, and he ratted them out. And Goodfellas, also the kids are kind of portrayed. There's a 30 for 30 called Playing for the Mob, I believe, that Ray Liotta narrates. And in that, they are very sympathetic for the kids, and they are showing how bad or intimidating the mob was. But in Goodfellas, they show the meeting between some of the players and Henry Hill, which is the who was the main guy running the scheme. But in movies, I feel like they're sympathetic towards the players that are involved, but they portray the men behind the scheme as intimidating, tough, hard to work with and whatnot. I think, well, in Rounders for sure, they added that little snippet in of them talking about fixing games in high school because the whole movie is about gambling, and Mike McDermott and Worm are best friends. They gamble on everything. It's a poker movie, but they talk about fixing games and selling a bunch of other things, doing a bunch of little schemes and scams to make money. So that fit right in, and I think that's something that a person or people like that would have done. I think that they added that into Goodfellas too, with Boston College, because that was the thing that actually happened, and Goodfellas was kind of portraying those mobsters and kind of showing each guy's. They all have different schemes. They all bring in different money, and they added that in to show Henry Hill making money off of fixing Boston College games. Common stereotypes between the gamblers and bookies and players. Um, like I said, they're all portrayed as very intimidating and serious. Most of the time in movies, I feel like the bookies and the people running the schemes and fixing games are mobsters. So they're intimidating and they're supposed to be portrayed as that. What I know about real life scandals, I believe that the Goodfellas scenes about Henry Hill meeting with the Boston College players, I think they were accurate. Um, it even showed them meeting in a hotel, and when I was reading about the Boston College scandal, I read that they would meet in a hotel before games and go over what needed to be done in that game for them to get paid. And Rounders, again, they didn't go too far in depth into it, but I think it was accurate because around that time that timeline of that movie would be the 1990s, 1980s probably, and that would have been a very real thing that could have happened even in high school, like they said they were doing. Overall, I think both movies portrayed a great depiction of incidents that could happen. Thank you.